Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Rita. This is my channel 10 Red Lipsticks, and today we're going to do part 2 of my makeup inventory. So apologies if you can hear any noise in the background. The kids next door are out playing in the garden and we might hear some birds, but you know, it is what it is. So I am following Kate's Collections prompts on Instagram, where you photograph your collection and count up what you've got in different makeup categories. I think you can definitely hear that. But anywho, we will press on because it's not going to get quieter while we've still got natural light. So I did days 1 to 6 in a previous video. I will link it below. You should go and check that out after this. And today we're going to do days 7 to 12. So we're starting with eye primers and freestanding eyeshadows, and we're going to finish with lipsticks. So we will also then talk about the total numbers, which I've just added up, and they're not good. They're too high. They're far too high. And I think I said in my last video that I would also talk about how many pans of different types of products I own. For example, blush. I've got blushes in individual single pans, in single compacts. I've got blushes in magnetic pans. I've got blushes in face palettes, and I've got blushes in eyeshadow palettes, like eyeshadow palettes that have face products in with them as well. So I've got a lot of blush, and it's not fully accurate to tell you, oh, I've got, I think it's 44 blushes in my collection that are singles, because I have far more shades of blush than that. So we're going to get into some of those numbers as well. So if you like the numbers, or if you would just like to see photos of what I've got in my collection, then stay tuned. The background noise hopefully just won't be too bad, and usually they'll play for a few minutes and then they'll calm down, and then they'll play for a few minutes. So we'll press on because we just never know. So with day 6 of Kate's collection, it's eye primers and freestanding shadows, I think. So she gives example liquid, potted, loose glitters, etc. So I have 5 eye primers. I am an eye primer girl because I have extremely oily skin. This just over and over again, but my face will eat eyeshadow. It will eat all makeup. If I don't use eye primer, there's no point in me applying eyeshadow at all, because after 15 minutes it'll be gone. So I have to use eye primers. Whenever I talk about having oily lids, people always say, oh, have you heard of eye primer? Have you thought about using an eye primer? It's like, yes, I've thought about it. I've spent a lot of money on eye primers, and I feel I haven't found the perfect one. My current favorite is the Catrice Power Grip, Catrice Grip to Last. And I really like it, though I did get it in my eye accidentally and it stung like hell. So be careful, don't get it in your eye, but it's affordable and I find it works quite well. Again, I've heard Smashbox, I've heard Natasha Denona, though I'm not going to be buying from her for the foreseeable future. I've heard other brands are really good, and yeah, if you've had huge success, please let me know. Nothing that I have now is perfect, but the Catrice is very good. So yeah, those are my thoughts, way too in depth, but I have a lot of eye primer, and to be honest, I'm open to buying more eye primers because I'm looking for my holy grail. I am on the hunt. I will say, if you, like me, really want to try out a bunch of formulas, that it is something that people frequently resell on like Depop or Vinted, or what's the one in America? Mascaras, because loads of people don't need eye primers. So if they get one in a gift set, like Urban Decay will often have primer potion in a gift set over Christmas or whatever, then a lot of people will resell that because they don't need it, they never use it. So if you want to try a few formulas, I would have a look on reselling sites, because it's not a product that everybody uses. But anywho, I've got 5. I'm happy with that number, in that I don't massively regret buying any of the ones that I have, but I'd love to have a holy grail perfect one and, you know, only have 1, 2, 3, something like that. MAC primer potion MAC paint pot I'm open to trying, but I'm afraid to try it because it's such a big thing. Like people say it takes them 2 years to use it, or over 2 years to use it, and it's expensive, and I'm not a huge fan of things like that in pots. So I'm worried I won't like using it. You know, if it doesn't work perfectly, which is a risk because loads of them have not worked perfectly, what if I also don't like using it? Then I'll never, you know, I'll never finish it. It'll just be a waste of money. So if I could get a tester of that, that would be amazing. But yeah, I'm not desperate to have fewer in this category because I'm still, you know, I've been for years searching for my holy grail and I haven't found it yet. I've realized I should actually move to the side so I can put the pictures up here and you can see what's going on. I know the background is messy. I'm deciding what to do with my shelves. I've moved everything around in the room where I film, so I haven't decided what to do. If you have any advice, please let me know. Next up, individual eyeshadows. So I have 18 of these. I've actually got 19, but one of them is a stick. This one from Kiko. So I just accidentally didn't include it with the other shadows, and I included it with the eyeliners, but I think that's fine. So I've got 18. I'd love to have, say, 10. This is too many. One of them is a matte, the brown Nabla. One of them is a satin that's not that special, the Clarins taupe shade, which it's just, you know, my mother-in-law decluttered it to me, but when I swatch it, it's gorgeous. I'm not sure if I've ever put it on my eyes though, so I'm not sure about that. The two Colourpop Jelly Muches are really dried out. Now, you can just use water and still use them, but like they're really old. I'm not sure how much longer I'll keep those for. The two Colourpop Super Shocks decluttered to me. I really like both of them. All of the Essence and Catrice in the clear and black packaging are amazing. Absolutely keeping all of those. One of them is actually a magnetic shadow that is just in an individual packaging. That one is from Glam Shop. The one from Lime Crime is so beautiful. I love it. And then the cream, oh yeah, then there's a loose one that I don't really use very often. And then the potted cream one from Kiko is so beautiful. And I do like using it as a base for more flaky things, but I just don't use it that often, so I don't know realistically how much longer that's going to still be usable because it's years old at this stage and it is a very creamy cream eyeshadow, so it, you know, it's inevitably going to dry out. But yeah, if you're ever in a shop and you see those Catrice or Essence individual single shadows with black and clear packaging and they've got testers, I would swatch them and see if you like the colours because they are a beautiful formula usually and I really like them. So yeah, I am unhappy with the numbers in this category and there are a few things that I think might be working their way out of my collection, but yeah, singles like that are not my preference. My preference is the next day, which is magnetic eyeshadow singles. 203. This, yeah, I felt bad about my 18 in the previous category. 203, sorry. Yeah, we've got a lot here, a lot from City Grace, some Glam Shop, some Glaminatrix. I've got a bunch of depotted Natasha Denona here. Most of those, or not most, but some of those belong in palettes, which you'll see when we get onto eyeshadow palettes shortly. Because things were rearranged and I was making my own palettes and whatever. I love my magnetic singles. They bring me so much joy. I think they're just gorgeous to look at. You are just much more likely to get really textured, really special shimmer shades in magnetic singles because they're expensive. So they're not going to put them in necessarily put them in as many mass-produced palettes because that would increase the price and therefore decrease the market share of that product. But I do have a lot of singles that are from palettes actually. So this Sydney Grace bundle massively upped my numbers in this category this year. And I actually got it for free. So this entire palette, and there was a matte black here, but I have gotten rid of that, was a gift with purchase. And these are mostly from, all but one I think, are from palettes. So these aren't necessarily, you know, the most special flaky shimmers, but I've bought a lot of those, so I thought getting this palette would be a great way to increase the number of mattes I have, in terms of if I want to put my own palette together of, you know, in one of my little £9 or £12 palettes, to have cohesive colour stories that I can put together, and, for example, be able to use all 26mm round pans, which is my preference. Obviously, I've got diverse shapes and sizes, but I kind of wish everything was uniform and everything was the same. It would just make life a bit easier, but whatever. So yeah, I got this, and I bought 2 rounds of shades that I picked myself from City Grace as well. So I massively upped my numbers in this category this year. So I want to slow down now, really enjoy what I have. And will I say I'm not allowed to buy any magnetic singles this year? I think that would be a good idea, to be on a magnetic single no buy for the year, because, you know, I've got a lot here, and what more do I possibly need, really? I think I should focus on what I have and think about next year if I want to add 1 or 2, but 203 is enough. I think that's fair to say. I'm not disappointed I have so many. These bring me a lot of joy. They're extremely beautiful. They're really fun to play with, and I do use them. I was trying to use every shade last year. I didn't quite get through all of them, but I got through a huge number of them. And I would like to do that this year, of using every single shade in my magnetic collection. Next up, this is, I'm sure, the most exciting category, eyeshadow palettes. So on the books, I've got 91 palettes. You might not be able to see, but under that thing there is a pile of Colourpop palettes, and I'm trying to get those, condense those down. Like, I've pulled out shades I want to declutter, and so 91 is including all of those, so we'll probably get down to 90 or even 89 when I eventually make those decisions, but I'm just not there yet. So I have too many eyeshadow palettes. Like, this sounds silly, but I think 52 would be a good number of eyeshadow palettes to own. Very random, but I think, you know, whatever a normal week of makeup usage is for you, be that wearing makeup every single day, be that wearing makeup twice, maybe you wear makeup at the weekends, you don't wear it during the week, or vice versa, or maybe you wear it when you feel like it, and that's about half the time, or whatever, or when you have the time, and that's never, whatever it is. I think the idea of being able to use every palette in your collection for a week of your usage per year makes sense, and right now I can't do that. Now, obviously, if I'm mixing and matching and whatever, but like, if I want to pull out a palette and do a look just with that palette, I can't focus on that palette for a whole week, because I won't have time to get around to the rest of my palettes. So that means I have too many. Now, this is the thing that brings me so much joy. So I'm not going to put myself on a no buy for eyeshadows, even though I don't want this number to go up. But I'm just going to be realistic. The reality, if I said no, you can't buy any eyeshadows, I think I would just go off the rails. So what I am going to do is increase my difficulty on my rule from last year. So last year I had to rule that I had to hit a new eyeshadow pan for every palette that I bought. And this year I'm going to say I have to hit 2 eyeshadow pans for every palette that I buy. Now, I have just ordered an eyeshadow palette. I didn't buy it. My mom bought it for me for my birthday, which is great. I'm getting an Alter Ego palette, which will be loads of fun. And I'm thinking of buying the new Valentine's Day Beauty Bay palette that they've just sneak peeked. It looks really pretty. So that I'm going to count the one I'm getting for my birthday as well. So that means if I get the Beauty Bay one, that I have to hit 4 eyeshadow pans before I'm allowed to buy another palette. And I think that's good. I think it's good for me to be thinking in terms of using makeup up, having fun with my collection that I have now as a stipulation to be able to bring anything new in. The reality is I'm very happy with what I have. There are certain palettes that I quite desperately want. I have chosen not to prioritize buying those. You know, I had a limit of how many palettes I could buy last year, and I met that, and I could have chosen to buy other palettes and I didn't, you know. So I've made choices, and maybe I wish I had a few different palettes in the ones or twos, but like I love most of my collection, like really, really love it. It brings me so much joy. I want to see more pans in my eyeshadow palette collection. I'll show you a picture actually of all of the pans that I have in my palette to you. This isn't enough pans. Like, I love my palettes so much. I want more pans. And if I keep bringing in, you know, 10 palettes a year or whatever, I'm not going to have more pans. I'm going to be too busy and excited about the new things, and I'm not going to get around to hitting pans. So I have to slow down what's coming in order to use and enjoy my collection the way I want to. So I'm sure many of you listening think, well, then stop buying eyeshadow palettes, and that's totally fair. But it just brings me so much joy. So I think increasing the difficulty of my rule is the best way to go, in terms of it's still a possibility, it's something I can work towards, something I can earn, is the chance to buy a fun new palette, and it is something that I am trying to measure against my goals in terms of usage. So kind of holistic, rounded approach to this category. It's a category that brings me so much joy. There are a couple of palettes here or there that maybe won't make it with, you know, there are one, two, three palettes I would think about decluttering in the future. But right now I'm very happy with everything I have in my collection. And you know, I'm like, oh, there's this hole or there's that hole. But in reality, like when you look at the pictures where the palettes are open, I have a lot of colours. I have a lot of variety. I've got so many cool tones. Cool tones are my jam. I love them so much. I've got loads of neutrals. Neutrals are my jam. I've got loads of kind of muted colour, and I love muted colour. I'm not necessarily a super bright eyeshadow person, but I love soft colour, and I've got quite a bit of that. So, you know, I'm really happy with my collection. There'll always be something new. There'll always be a reason to want it. But I think I have to have some self-control and put reasonable limits on how many new things I bring into my collection. And, you know, with this rule, if I hit a lot of pans, I can still buy a decent number of palettes. So I think that'll still be really fun for me. So yeah. 91. Like to get it down to 52. We shall see. Anywho, next up we've got brow products, eyeliners and mascaras, and I've added in a random freckle pen here because I didn't know where else to put it. So brow products, I have 6. So I've gone to the wrong picture just for me looking at it now. Yeah, so I've got 2 identical e.l.f. brow pencils. One of them has never been opened. It's great shade for me, so I decided to keep that. I had another shade as well that also had never been opened. Who was I? This was years ago, but I was ordering from the e.l.f. site in the US, and I thought, I bought different shades of the same thing. I bought backups. Like, what was I doing? So anyway, one of the other shades, I gave it to Ruth. I'm not sure if it's working out for her or not. I hope it is. I've got, 2 e.l.f. brow pencils, 1 Aldi brow pencil, 2 brow gels, one from Huda, which is amazing. It is so good, but it is nearly gone, and it keeps like drying out, but then when I clean the wand I'm able to use it again. It's because it's like a fiber gel, so it's drying out and the fibers are like filling up the spoolie, so I have to like wipe it clean to be able to use it again. I thought it was completely done, and then I wiped it clean just to use the spoolie for something else, and then put it back in, and I was like, oh my god, it's brand new. So I'm really happy with that. And then I've got the Essence Make Me Brow, which is really good. And then unopened, I've got an It brow pencil. I have one of those opened. I don't know where it is. Anywho, eyeliners. So almost this entire category was decluttered to me by Ruth. In terms of things I bought for myself, I've got an inner, like a cream shade for the inner, for the waterline. Sorry, I'm losing my mind here. A cream shade for the waterline. I've got the Kiko Shadow Stick, which isn't really an eyeliner, but we missed the other category, so it went here. And then I've got 6 colourful eyeliners that Ruth decluttered to me. The Meta Glow from Essence are amazing. I love them so much. I'll actually just... Did I take a picture of the swatches of them? I don't think I did. I'll just swatch them for you now because they just bring me so much joy. Sorry, there it is. Eyeliner is not a big thing for me. I don't use black eyeliner. I don't use liquid eyeliner. I don't do wings. I don't do any of that. I've kind of small eyes. Like I've got a giant head. So proportionately, my eyes are not that big, and I think it can make them look smaller, and it requires technical skill that I don't have, and I'm not interested in investing time in learning how to do sugar. Okay, so I actually accidentally layered this one on top of that one, but I don't know if you can see it. But anyway, they are just gorgeous, and I have been having so much fun with kind of whenever I feel like, oh, this is a very neutral look, I want to add something more fun, I'll pick any of them and put it on the lower waterline or lower lash line. And it just adds something subtle because they're not that deep and they're not that impactful, but special and fun to looks. And I've just been loving them so much, and I'm now very interested in getting more duochromatic light colours, or even just light metallic eyeliners that won't budge from the waterline. I'm very interested in that, but I'm not running out and buying dozens because it's something that I think is quite particular, because simultaneously to getting those 3, I got the light purple, dark green and a dark blue from Ruth, and I just haven't really used those. Like, I've tried them, but they're just not that appealing to me, whereas these are like bringing me so much joy. So I think a small number of fun eyeliners that I can use in the waterline is good for me to have, and that's what I have now. So if 1 or 2 more became very accessible to me, like I've seen Wet n Wild have a new collection with duochromatic eyeliners. I can't really tell from the promo photos what the format exactly is, like how thick the pencil is or what. I don't think it's likely that I will see those in store, but if I saw those in store and I was able to swatch them, I would be very interested in getting particularly the very neutral looking one. But I'm not going to order them online because I'm just not sure they would actually suit what I want. And it's kind of random that Ruth was decluttering these, and I was like, oh yeah, maybe. And I just took all of them, and I'm so happy I took all of them because they're amazing. So yeah, 8 eyeliners, and I could just have 3. I could just have 3. I don't want to have more than 8. I'd be open to having like 5 if I could get 2 more that were similar to this but in other colours. I think that would be a good number. Mascara, just... So, say it with me. I only like to have 1 mascara open at a time. That's some fantasy self. I don't know, but that's my dream. I've never achieved that dream. Literally since I had 1 makeup bag, I've never achieved that dream. I lose mascara, I misplace it, I pack a makeup bag to put my makeup on at work and bring everything but mascara, and then I have to go to a shop and buy some. It's a nightmare. So I don't know what's wrong with me, but this category is a problem. So I currently have two open brown mascaras, the Catrice Pure Volume, which is a lovely shade of brown, and the Essence Lash Without Limits, which is another lovely but very different shade of brown. I have a waterproof eyeliner, the Catrice Lashes to Kill. That was so great over the summer. I would not have survived without it. I've got a non-waterproof eyeliner that I like for more every day. I'm just going to the shops, whatever, which is the Zoeva. I've got the e.l.f. Lash Extender, which is a tubing mascara. I've got that on today. I really love it, and I would be quite interested in getting it in the brown. I think it's the soft black shade. Is it near? See, like, I don't even know where it is right now, even though I just used it. Wait, here it is. Yeah, so this is the soft black shade, so I think that's plenty black enough for me. Obviously, sorry, not obviously, but they have an ultra black shade as well, so I don't know if you want it to be more dramatic. But yeah, I really like this. I would be interested in just having this in the black and this in the brown. I have the same It kit here, which has the superhero mascara, which I've used one of those before, and I quite liked it. It wasn't amazing, but I liked it. And I was kind of like, is this really a mascara people like rave about? I don't know, but I did like it. And then I've got the little Girl Gone Bad, which is so good, and it's very similar to the Tartelette tubing mascara, whereby it's not proper tubes, but it kind of comes off in clumps, and it's very effective, like beautiful lash. So that backup I've had for a very long time, so I don't know if it'll even be okay when I open it, but obviously I've got way too many mascaras open. It's a whole thing. So yeah, I would like to have between 2 and 4 in this category, and I know that's insane, but I would like to have a waterproof or tubing black mascara, a waterproof or tubing brown mascara, and then probably a non-waterproof, non-tubing brown mascara. So maybe 3. So I could, you know, do a much lighter look with that brown mascara and then do more intense look with the other 2. So yeah, that's the situation. I'm disgusted with myself. 7 mascaras, 5 of them open. What the flip. I'd like to have 2 or 3, but a brown and a black, that's non-negotiable. I want a brown and a black at all times. And generally I would have said in the past, oh, I need a waterproof mascara over the summer, or I need one like if I'm going to a wedding. But do you know when you really need one? If you're going to a funeral and you don't know that that's going to happen. So I'm now on team, I need a waterproof mascara at all times. But my big thing for not getting mascara all over my face is to only apply it to the upper lashes, which is what I did today and what I do most days anyway. And then finally I have one freckle pen. It is very old. I only very occasionally use it, but it still works, and you know, I very occasionally use it, so I'm not going to get rid of it. Lips. So massive disclaimer for our next 2 sections, which are going to be day 11 lip liners and lip glosses and day 12 lipsticks. I definitely have a lot of lip products in all of my handbags. I didn't kill myself looking for them. I counted what I have in my drawers. It is what it is. So yeah. Lip liners, 20. I do not wear lip liner that often. Why do I have 20? First off, I bought this big Zoeva kit that had maybe 8 years ago. They take forever to use up, so I've still got 6 of those in this photo, but the other 2 could be somewhere, or maybe I decluttered them. I've got a 4-piece kit from e.l.f. I then have a bunch that I bought individually myself, and then I have some that Ruth decluttered to me. This is out of control. I absolutely do not need all of these. I feel like I would like to have, say, maybe 6 lip liners, maybe 2 reds, like a brighter red and a deeper red, a pink, pinky nude, a brownie nude, and then if I have some particular colour, a couple of those. It's out of control. It's out of control with the lip liners. My favourite is from e.l.f. from that 4-piece kit, and I just don't use them that often and I feel bad about it. I think it looks great when you wear a lip liner. I just don't use them very often. I was tempted to buy a Makeup Forever lip liner because everyone was talking about how great they were. I had to just be like, what are you talking about? You don't use lip liner. It doesn't matter how good it is. It does not matter how good it is. You don't use it very often. And I think a really good idea would be the idea that I have to fully finish a lip liner before I'm allowed to buy one. I think that would be great. The reality is I'm going to wind up decluttering a bunch of these. I'm not going to finish all of them. But to actually finish one, like to finish my favourite one, which I've been using for years, before I'm allowed to buy another one, I think that's such a good way to look at placing a reasonable limit on myself, which is if I start using lip liner, I can buy lip liner. But if I'm not using it, I shouldn't have 20. Yeah, okay. These kids are having lots of fun. So next up, lip glosses. So I've said that I have 6 lip glosses, which is true. I'm sure I actually know. There's definitely at least one other lifter gloss from Maybelline, but it's great formula. Really like it. Don't love the packaging, but really like the formula. There are 2 more from Kaleidos, so that's bumping us up to 9. But what I actually had was 6, so we're saying it's 6. Yeah, like all of these, I really wish the Extreme Care from Essence came in more colours. It is such a beautiful formula. But anywho, and then I've also included here basically glossy lipsticks with a doe foot, which includes what I'm wearing today. So this is obviously duping the Rare Beauty, but this is from Aldi. So this is the Lacura Hydrate and Shine Tinted Lip Oil in Merlot Moment. So it's tinted there now. But when you first put it on, it's glossy. So yeah, I really love these. I have 3 of these, and then I have 2 of the Superstay Vinyl Inks from Maybelline. Really like that formula as well. It's like long lasting and it stays glossy. This would stay glossy if I wasn't talking so much. But anywho, I didn't know where to put these. Like, they're not lipsticks, but so yeah, I just put them here with the lip glosses, whatever. So I have 5 of those. I've called them doe foot lipsticks on Instagram, whatever. And then I put lip balms in here as well. So for tinted lip balms, I've got 12. So some are sticks, some are squeezy tubes, some are long clicky sticks. I really like this category. I love a long lasting lip, but even things that claim to last a long time often don't, and they still dry out your lips. Like, this is great because it's tint, but like those Maybelline lip ink whatever things, Superstay matte ink or whatever, it didn't last on me. So I was like, what's the point of the drying aspect if it just doesn't last? So something like this that is tint, some of these are like heavily tinted, they're like a lipstick, and some of them are very subtle tint, like the Summer Fridays, there's barely a tint to those. It's just so easy to keep reapplying it, which obviously you need to do because it doesn't last, but it's really easy to do because it's not that, you know, you don't need a mirror. You're not getting messy outside of your lip line because it's so desaturated. So this is a category I love. This is too many, but it is a category I feel will grow. I would like to keep a limit on it. And for example, those Summer Fridays are really small. I got them in like September, October, something, somewhere there. I would love to use those up before buying anything else in this category. There's definitely things missing here. There's another shade of that Catrice Powerful 5 Lip Balm, for example, which I'm currently panning and want to. So like that would make this 13. But I'm hoping to use that up very soon. So then we'll be back down to 12. And then I put clear lip balms here. Definitely not all of my clear lip balms, but I have 5. So the vanilla scent of the Summer Fridays, which I think doesn't smell nice, but whatever. Sculpted by Amy one from 2 from Aldi, One of which, the Salty Caramel Nourishing Peptide Lip Treatment, is amazing. I love it so much. I actually bought 2 of them. I love them so much. So one of those is missing, but whatever. The Murder on the Orange Express, which is so good, by Literary Lip Balms. Love that. So yeah, 5 clear lip balms, definitely not accurate. Would like to finish a few of those up. It's hard to say you won't buy another one though, because there's such a necessity that when you misplace it, you really do need to get another one. But it's like, I should start misplacing them, but they're so small, you know. I don't feel like, oh, once I get my whole house super organized, which I've done a lot of reorganizing, which is why these shelves are now visible to you that weren't before. Once I get my house organized, I'll always know where my lip balm is. It's like, will I though? Because they're so small. I think once I get my house organized, I'll always know where my shoes are. I'll always know where my jeans are. I don't think I'll always know where my lip balms are. So it's not the end of the world to me to have too many in that category, but I would love to limit it, you know, not to be increasing it too much. So trying to keep better track of them is important. And then finally, day 12, here we go, lipsticks. So proper bullet lipsticks. Some of them are long, but they're not like the glossy long ones. 27. So there are a few missing from here, but not that many. So yeah, I think this is fine. I think 30 lipsticks is fine. I know that's crazy, but like some of these I've had for years and I don't think there's anything wrong with the formula. So yeah, I don't know if I've ever finished a proper lipstick. I've finished like glossy lipsticks. I don't know if I've ever finished like a matte or a satin lipstick. I would like to do that. I would certainly like to have a go at my mini lipsticks, except the Gucci Goldie Red mini lipstick is my favourite lipstick and I don't want to use it up because it's so expensive. And I don't want to repurchase it. But yeah, I'd like to make some progress on some of these. I'm not sure the best way, like I'm not sure if finishing a lipstick in this year is super realistic. But again, I think it would be a great goal to have, that I had to finish a lipstick before I could buy another one. Like, I'm really happy with this collection. The only thing I would like another one of is a nude pink lipstick. I have a couple, they're just not exactly perfect. But buying another one won't necessarily mean I find the exact perfect thing, because in reality I think you need to put it on your lips to know if the colour and formula is exactly what you want, which you generally don't do. I know like at a department store or whatever, they could apply it for you, but I want to like walk around without anybody else talking to me and you can't really do that with testers. That's disgusting. Do it on the back of your hand and then you're like having a good guess up against your face, but it's not exactly showing you. So yeah, I would be interested in one more nude pink lipstick, but I don't think I should buy one now. I think I should try and use up a lipstick and then I can think maybe next year about buying another lipstick. Okay, so now we're going to get into nitty-gritty numbers. So in total, with all of these categories added together, I have 540 makeup products, and I know it's at least 550 in terms of lipsticks and lip balms that are missing. I feel like something like 300 would be great in terms of, you know, still having a broad selection in the categories that bring me loads of joy, like eyeshadow, blush, lipstick, so color cosmetics basically. But I just have things eating up, like every category is big, nothing is small. Like even highlighters, what's highlighters, 11? Because they're not my favorite thing or whatever, but like 11, that's loads. So I just feel like in every single category, I want to be dropping down, you know, in ones or twos or in tens or 20s. And that's not a great feeling. So I've talked about kind of ideas of low buy limits and things like that. And I think a big thing I would like to start doing is, you know, just having my numbers be to the forefront of my mind. So, you know, let's say I have in reality 550 products. If I buy something else before I use something up, that's pushing me into 551. What can I reasonably use up quickly? I think I can use up 1 or 2 lip products, 1 or 2 base products, maybe a primer, maybe a highlighter, because that liquid highlighter, I don't think I can finish any of my eyeshadow palettes or even any of my eyeshadow singles. I don't think I can finish any of my blushes or bronzers. So what can I use up? Maybe 10 products. So really, if I have a goal of cutting my collection nearly in half, I have to stop buying makeup. So that's not necessarily to say that I will stop buying makeup, but it is something to think about and something to consider. And it would bring me just a lot of joy if I'm able to come back and do these videos again next year, maybe all in one video that time, we'll see. To be able to say, oh, my numbers have gone down since last year. That would be so nice. And I can't pan entire palettes, you know, finish entire palettes within a year. So it means I just have to stop buying things. And I'm sure a lot of you will be watchers of Hannah Louise Poston's channel, but a few years ago, I think it was like COVID, so very difficult times, but her like theme of the year was fewer, nicer things. So, you know, instead of buying the dupe, the cheaper version, buy the nice thing you actually want and whatever. And instead of buying 5 tops you kind of like, buy 1 top that sparks joy and you're going to wear every day and is super amazing, and you're willing therefore to invest more money in it because you don't have to buy 4 other tops at the same time. I would like to have that attitude, not in terms of price, or not in terms of purely price. For example, oh, I'm going to go buy an Hourglass palette instead of buying an Essence palette. Like, I have I have a Catrice palette that I absolutely love so much, like face palette, that I'm not saying I wouldn't like an Hourglass palette more, but I wouldn't give it up to get an Hourglass palette. But I want to feel that way about anything that I buy. I want to love it so much. And something, I think it was Lauren May Beauty, or it might have been Hannah Louise Poston, or maybe both of them have said it as well, of buying to stop buying to try. I would love to stop buying to try. There are a few categories like eye primers, where I feel there's something I'm really missing, and a bit of buying to try is kind of necessary. But other than that, like, I don't need to buy to try an eyeshadow palette. I have eyeshadow palettes I love. I don't need to say, oh wow, is this new brand that's just launched or whatever, is that actually going to be my holy grail eyeshadow palette? Because I have eyeshadow palettes that are holy grail status that I adore. So I don't need to be trying that category in that way. And if I want to try, I should go to a store and swatch things and see what they look like. Now, that's not something that I ever choose to not do. I only buy things without swatching or whatever that I can't swatch. But I want to really think about it. For example, if it's a brand or a formula I've never tried before, to really consider, is this something that's likely to be a holy grail that I'm likely to want to finish, and if not, really questioning whether I should be even thinking about buying it. I certainly don't want to buy more things that I wind up keeping out of next year's inventory by decluttering them within a year of getting them. I do not want that to happen. I'm very interested in some of the lip products from the 2025 releases from Essence and Catrice, but looking at these numbers, I don't need any more lip products. So I'm going to straight up say I'm not allowed to buy any of those, I don't know, for 6 months, and then see how I feel, see how things are going. So yeah, now I'm going to just do a quick calculation as to, or not even a calculation, I'm going to look at my spreadsheets, which my spreadsheets aren't perfect. There are probably a couple of things that I've decluttered that aren't in my spreadsheets. But so as promised, I've just been looking at the numbers of pans I have in the different categories. Okay, we'll start with the smallest. So according to my spreadsheet, which I think is very slightly out of date, but anywho, I have 23 pans of bronzer. So that means in face palettes, in face and eye palettes, in individual pans, in magnetic singles, whatever. 23 pans of bronzer. Oh yeah, and that would include liquids, creams, whatever. I have 34 pans of highlighter, but I think those numbers are quite skewed because I've definitely decluttered a few of the e.l.f. bite-sized duos, which all had highlighters in them. So this number might be more like 30, but anywho, according to my spreadsheet, I have 34 pans of highlighter. I have 86 pans of blush. It's a lot. That's a lot. And we all know how much time it takes to use up a blush. A year, 2 years? So what's that? 100 years worth of blush? Outrageous. But it gets worse. Because I have a total of 1,128 pans of eyeshadow. I'm not happy with that at all. I would say it's my immediate goal to most likely declutter down to 1,000 pans of eyeshadow, which is already ridiculous. I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with that number. That number is ridiculous. So yeah, I think it's very helpful to look at it this way. I know a lot of people kind of say, oh, if a compact has 4 blushes in it, but they're all blushes, then that counts as one blush, and other people count it different ways. I like to count both in terms of number of items and number of pans, because I just think both tell an important story. And the story this is telling me is I have too much makeup. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know it's obviously a bit longer, but I know a lot of people like the numbers. I like the numbers. I love to hear, you know, how people are doing. And I would definitely like to repeat this video or these videos at the end of the year or in early 2026 and see if these numbers have changed at all. And I'd definitely like to come back to these numbers and remind myself whenever I'm considering purchasing anything new that I've got more than I can handle already, and I don't want these numbers to go up. So really thinking about, is it worth it? So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye!